if you're looking at Google ads versus Facebook ads or Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Anyway, it's search ads. Those are Google ads. People have to be actively searching for, if you're an ice cream shop or a plumber, exactly what it is you're selling. Or you have to use the search terms that will lead them to what you're selling. Interruption marketing, that's where the fun stuff can really come in because then you're putting the ads in front of somebody else. It's like sitting in front of a TV and again, showing our age because my kids really don't know what commercials are on the TV, but it's sitting in front of the TV and seeing a McDonald's commercial coming up and going, that looks really good. Again, it did when I was a kid, not so much at this point. But those are the kind of things that you wanna look at when you're going out to do these things. Are which ad platform is really best for your business? If
Welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedlak, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I'm here with my most amazing guest, Jennifer. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So give everybody the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
So I'm Jennifer Tamborski. I am a digital marketing strategist. So I help business owners that are kind of stuck with what to do with their marketing. They may have gotten to a certain point in business and they're trying to get to that next level and they need some help. And I come in and help them develop that strategy. And depending on what the strategy is, maybe help them implement it.
Yay, I love it. So let's back up the bus a bit. How did you get into digital marketing and strategy as your thing?
So it's been a long, windy road. I actually started in my business almost 20 years ago. And I started as a virtual assistant, but I kind of started in that marketing space accidentally. And I started with real estate agents doing all of their marketing things that needed to be done. And then we had a real estate collapse in
Oh
2008.
yeah, that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
that was some of us might remember it, some of us might not, depends on your age. But it did require me to pivot what I was doing, and so I ended up working for digital marketers. I have a whole lot of my own thoughts about why, but along the way, I ended up being kind of the backbone of their business, and there came a point when I was like, "You know what? I can do this better than they can." And so I headed out on my own. I owned a digital marketing agency for almost a decade where we did all of the done for you marketing. Um, and it ended up not being a healthy fit for me. I don't
Mm.
know if I know you own an agency. My agency ended up kind of eating my life.
Kind of
With
like a
kind of,
ferocious
yeah,
cat
it
on a.
was. It was, and I got really burned out to the point where I actually shut everything down. There was a good solid 3, 4 months where I wasn't doing anything.
Aw.
Um, and I stepped back and I really started to assess what was it that I loved about my business? What was it that I didn't like about my business?
Mhm.
And what I found that I really loved is working on that strategy, is brainstorming with people, is really coming up with what we think is going to work, helping them test it, and then allowing them to either continue to work with me, ongoing as we continue to test different ideas, or letting them head out on their own, whichever way, wherever they're at in their business. Sometimes it's building a full-on marketing team. All of those things and as businesses grow and scale became kind of where I love to sit. I love helping those businesses get to the next level.
Nice. Well, we're glad you figured out your hotspot because I, for myself, there was a time there where I got pigeonholed into doing project management. And it's like, okay, details and T's crossed and I's dotted is so not my thing. I'm going to kill somebody. So I now have a proficient explanation that if you find a typo in anything that we do, I'm going to reward you with added, little surprise gifts just because I put them in there intentionally. Like, I so don't care. Does it work? Does it work? Do you know what that mean? It's all good. Nobody cares about
Yeah.
typos anymore. Get over
I
it, people.
definitely feel that statement. I have had clients have huge issues with typo. When I was running my agency, like, we're human. Things sometimes get past us, right? It happens. Even if we set up as many walls as we can, it still sometimes happens. And,
Yeah.
we
When
do
I
our best.
fly
Have
40,000
to,
feet, I am in my happy place. It's
right?
like, oh my God, I
Yeah.
can see things and nobody else can see. And it's like, what do you mean you can't see that? That's totally obvious.
Exactly, exactly. I love working with my clients when we're discussing, I was talking to one client the other day and we're figuring out she's pretty early. Actually, she's not early in her business. She's early in digital marketing. She grew her business through word of mouth and she's looking to, scale into digital marketing. So
Nice.
we are talking about that and I'm like, this is my thought. This is what I think would work for you. And she just lit up.
Right.
Like, it was so exciting to see that.
I love that. I love it to pieces. And I think it's a totally normal thing to not have embraced technology. And some people may be going, are you kidding me? It's 2024. How do you not have technology and digital marketing in place? Well, for somebody that runs a brick and mortar companies and somebody that runs a service company, I mean, there's a ton of reasons why a company wouldn't have embraced necessarily the digital marketing. In fact, I encourage people to do the analog marketing and sales until you get to the point where you have a system and you know what to say and you know what attracts people and you know what works, because it's going to work a lot better on the marketing side or on the digital side. Has that
Absolutely.
been your experience? And are there aspects of analog marketing that you have to switch over in order for them to work in the digital marketing world?
Yes, and okay, so what I will say, it depends on what point of digital marketing you're talking about. There's digital marketing where it's just really getting you out in front of an audience, right? So maybe it's social media marketing, or maybe it's some type of webinar or something along that line. So it just gets you out into a larger audience. That doesn't necessarily need to be complex technology. It just doesn't. But that's a good way to test whether your messaging is working and whether you're able to convert people XYZ. And then there are things like running ads. Before you run an ad, you need a funnel that works. Like, that is the biggest thing that I have discussed with all of my clients. One of the things, if you are early stages in your digital marketing, we need to test and make sure that your funnel works before you start driving cold traffic to it. Because if you're not able to sell to a warm audience, you're not going to be able to sell to a cold audience.
Right. If you can't sell the hot audience, it's
Right?
certainly not going to work on a cold audience. One of my favorite ones is, oh, I've tried Google ads and they didn't work. It's like, yeah, and what's your landing page look like? Yeah, and what's your funnel look like? Yeah, and where are you leading them
Not
to?
only
It's like,
that, but yeah, and are people actually searching for your stuff? I always compare Google Ads to like the yellow pages. And for those of you who don't know what the yellow pages are, I've just definitely put my age out there into the universe. That being said, people actually have to look. If you're a plumber, people are looking for plumbers. But if you're a business coach, that's not usually what people are typing into Google. They're not searching for it. So if you want to use Google Ads, you need to use the search terms that the people are using to get them to your site.
absolutely. So when people are trying to figure this out on their own, which I think is rather silly, I mean, just give Jennifer a call and go, get that over with. If you're the special kind of silly enough to go and try and do it on your own, how do you help get people in the state of mind of the Google search? Because I know a lot of clients, I can tell you almost every site, any like one of my favorites is an ice cream site, and their whole thing is about the flavors that they have and what's going on. Which you would think was normal, but when was the last time you went out and searched banana ice cream? Like it
Never,
just doesn't happen, right?
right? Yeah. It is really about looking, if you're looking at Google ads versus Facebook ads or Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Anyway, it's search ads. Those are Google ads. People have to be actively searching for, if you're an ice cream shop or a plumber, exactly what it is you're selling. Or you have to use the search terms that will lead them to what you're selling. Interruption marketing, that's where the fun stuff can really come in because then you're putting the ads in front of somebody else. It's like sitting in front of a TV and again, showing our age because my kids really don't know what commercials are on the TV, but it's sitting in front of the TV and seeing a McDonald's commercial coming up and going, that looks really good. Again, it did when I was a kid, not so much at this point. But those are the kind of things that you wanna look at when you're going out to do these things. Are which ad platform is really best for your business? If if you can look at it from that perspective, you'll be much better able to get success out of them.
Talk to me about the social media because I think the bane of most people's existence right now, especially if they're over 40, I've noticed, is do I have to be everywhere all the time? Do I like, kill me now. I don't want to do this. I'm like, no, don't do that. Please don't do
I I always tell my clients, pick one platform, whatever your platform is. Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? Is it YouTube? What are you comfortable on? Where are your ideal clients actually hanging out? Because I will tell you, while a health coach might get clients on LinkedIn, they're much more likely to get more clients on Facebook. Whereas a high end business coach might get clients on Facebook, but a lot of their clients are probably hanging out on LinkedIn. So if you can focus in on the platform that is perfect for your ideal clients, that's the key thing. And then learn to repurpose. There is no need that for you to, yes, each platform has its own feel and look and that kind of thing. But at this point, if you're really focusing in, let's say on Instagram and you're spending all of your time there, just farming the same content out to the other platforms just so you have a presence is fine. You want to dial in one platform really well, and the rest of them you can phone in.
Yeah, right? Because it really does come down to that social aspect of, are you responding to people? Are you answering the questions? Are you interacting with them? Are you doing all the fun stuff? And you do want to do that, or you want somebody to do that for you and make it sound like it is you so that it's not, oh, sorry, this conversation is getting awkward. This is actually your assistant. Those ones don't work either.
That is also true. Be as authentic as you can in marketing in general. Doesn't
Mm.
matter what your marketing is. Be authentically you. That doesn't mean that you can't use technology to help you along the way. There are things like ChatGPT to help you write. There are things like the automated bots that help you answer things on Facebook and Instagram. Like there's all kinds of technology that can help you get there, and you have to take the time to actually build those out so it does sound authentically you.
Nice, love it. So, in your experience, what is one of the biggest mistakes that your clients have made prior to coming to you?
The biggest mistake most people make is that they have the anybody and everybody mentality. You know, you ask them, who's your ideal client? Well, I work with anyone who, no, that is never, ever, ever going to work for you. Dial in your messaging and your ideal client as deeply as possible. It doesn't exclude all of the other people. What it does is allow you to speak directly to the people you actually want to work with. And then those other people who are interested in the message that you have will start to trickle in as well.
So, would you recommend that there's kind of a way to kind of start the conversation in order to go, hey, and we can open up the conversation somewhere else? Or because you don't want to cast the net and then narrow down what their issue is online. You can do that in a networking event, but you can't do that online. So, is there a best place to start with that?
Starting with what is a problem that you solve, right? We always want to start with the problem that we solve. The solution that we provide is extraneous. Nobody actually cares how you solve the problem. They just want to know that you solved their problem. That doesn't mean that you have to, as a business person, dive really deep into tugging on all of their pain points. It literally means you solve a specific problem. You can't solve every problem on the planet. My CPA is not also doing surgery on me. It's just not happening. So be very specific about the problem you're solving and then start going up from there.
Right. And if there's somebody who goes, yeah, but we can solve all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
I
And
really want people to get out of this mindset because it drives me crazy. Even it just drives me crazy.
yeah, you can't, everybody can solve all kinds of problems. I can solve lots of problems. Like, I have a really good idea of how business runs. I can help people do all kinds of things within business and sometimes life. I'm also an NLP master coach. So I could life coach people too if I wanted to. The reality is if you try and do all of the things, nobody hears you because you just confuse them about what it is that you do. So focus on the one problem you solve. Focus on the one thing that you do better than everyone else. And then when you hit $1 million or beyond, you can start navigating someplace else.
Nice. I love it. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you about a Cinderella story of one of your clients. But before we do that, we're going to.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.
So I am super excited. Tell us about a Cinderella story of one of your clients.
So one of my favorite clients, I just love her as a person. And she actually allows me to use her name in my stories as well. Not every client does that, depends on, but Kathy came to me. She had gone through agency after agency after agency and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and just not gotten to where she wanted to be. Like, her cost per leads were too high. Her funnel wasn't converting. Her sales cycle was sometimes 2 years long. And so, yeah, it was kind of crazy. Um, so what we ended up doing was stepping back and really looking at her overall strategy. Was the funnel she was producing actually the ones that were bringing in buyers? And the answer was no, because while the people that she was attracting were definitely into what it is that she was teaching during her webinar, they weren't active buyers. And that, I think, is the big difference that people aren't really aware of. You can get 1 million people to watch your webinar or join your email list, but if they're not active buyers, who cares? So we stepped back and really dialed in her audience. Who was it that she really, really wanted to work with and had money? We have to have both. And then we dialed in a new webinar for her, one that was going to really attract those buyers and convert them. We ended up in the first iteration of the webinar, we ended up selling $250,000 in revenue in that first launch. And then in the second launch, it was $350,000. By the end of the year, we actually doubled her revenue and took her to $1 million in business, which was an amazing process to help her through. And she's still a client and she will, come in and tell different stories about how I have helped her over the years. But that's kind of the thing when you're looking at a really effective strategy, when you dial in who it is who will buy from you, not just who's interested in what you sell, who's going to buy from you. Those are the kind of things that can happen. You get your messaging right, you get your audience right, you get it out there, and then you're making millions of dollars in your business.
Love it. So I know our clients our listeners are going to want more from you. Our clients might want more from you too. So, how did they start that journey with you?
So, two places. You can hear me on Marketing Matchmaker. That's my podcast, which I always love to talk about marketing there. and then go over to virtualmarketingexpert.com. And that's going to be the easiest way to actually schedule a call with me or just learn more about me. But you can find me on either of those two places.
Love it. We will, of course, have all of Jennifer's links in the show notes. So go ahead and click on those links and open them up in a new browser because we're not done yet. So, Jennifer, I get to ask you, at what point in life did you know you were a special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
Oh, I did it kind of accidentally. I didn't realize I was that special kind of crazy. I did it because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and I still needed to have an income. So after my second child was born, that's when I opened my business. And then over the years, I kind of realized, A, I'm a special kind of crazy. And if you look back in the history of my family, so are a lot of us. I have a lot of
Ex-
entrepreneurs that I didn't really, you don't think of your grandpa as an entrepreneur. Like that's not your thought as you're growing up, but he was. And so was my great grandma, and so was my mom. And so yeah, it's definitely a special kind of crazy that we get to share.
Right? And we're proud of it. And welcome to the club. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
You've been absolutely awesome. Any last words for our peeps?
If you're wanting to grow your business, increase your revenue, and scale your impact, the thing you have to do is let people know you're there. And that's exactly what marketing does. So take the time to step back and assess how your marketing's going. How's your business going? And if it's not going in the way you want it to, maybe reach out to myself or Michelle, depending on what it is you need help with.
Right. Jennifer, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I know how valuable it is.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, peeps, this is Michelle Nedlock. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show and share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.